All right, what's going on? I'm going to be doing a weekly price action review using the iFVG Ultimate Indicator by DodgysDD. I'm going to start doing these indicator reviews to help you guys kind of better understand how to make the most out of this indicator, because I'm sure a lot of you guys, you've had the indicator, but there hasn't been a whole lot of educational content on the indicator, and my goal with these videos is to build a library of education to where you guys can really learn Dodgy's model, you know, if you're using the indicator, how to best use it. Obviously, to learn the model, the best way to do it is learn through Dodgy, but the indicator is such a great educational tool to kind of, after watching those videos, to see it directly on your chart. It is so helpful, and not to mention the alerts. I personally use the alerts still every single day. I get an alert on my phone, I see if the trade is valid, and then, you know, if it is, I take it, right? It's such a helpful tool. But I think a lot of you guys who are kind of beginner or intermediate, you don't exactly know how to know which setups are valid with the indicator. And this video is meant to kind of help you guys with that. So with that being said, we're going to go through price action from this week, June 15. I'm going to kind of do like a back testing style video. This price action is obviously kind of fresh in my head, so we kind of have an unfair advantage, I guess. But I'm going to walk you through my thought process in real time, because I do trade with the indicator, right? And I'm thinking these same thoughts as I'm watching price throughout the week. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to kind of go through it and show you guys kind of what goes through my head when I use it. So right off the bat, we had this inversion. This was pre-market. For the purpose of this back test, we're not going to take anything in pre-market. We're just going to focus post-market open. I just realized I'm on the 5-minute time frame too. But let's cycle through the time frames really quick. And I highly recommend this for you guys too, is every day when I start out, I'm really starting on the higher time frames, like the daily and the 4-hour. And usually this will give me a good idea as to whether I will even be trading for the day. Because if price looks terrible on these higher time frames, especially like the 4-hour, 1-hour, 15-minute, if price doesn't look good on these time frames, or I don't see a clear spot where we are going to deliver from, then I'm usually not even looking to take a trade. But here, I mean, we have these highs to the left. Price is obviously looking very strong coming off open right here. Price is looking strong coming off open. We opened the week, if you guys remember this week, we opened the week with this new week gap. This came from very bullish news. So that's one thing I did consider going into Monday, is you want to be careful taking shorts, especially with how strong we opened up the week. Obviously, the new week open gap should be a target lower eventually. This should be a target, but not right at open on Monday, right? Like, we're opening the week very strong. I'm looking at this as a target for later in the week. For now, going into Monday, we look strong, and it's kind of as simple as that. Like, I'm really not going to be looking for shorts on this day. That was kind of my thought process real time. Strong open. And there's also nowhere where I'm expecting a reversal, to be honest. Like, with how strong we look, like, I'm expecting this high to get hit, and potentially we could play a reversal off of here. So this is my draw for now. So I guess if we reach up there, we'll see what happens. I would be open to taking a short off hitting this high, but let's see if the indicator even presents a setup for that. We're going to let it kind of catch up a little bit. But yeah, you always want to be thinking like that with the indicator. You always want to know what's going on the higher time frame. Don't get stuck on the 1-minute time frame just looking at every signal and basically just, being like a monkey and just taking whatever pops up. This is not a signal service. It's meant to just be an education tool. It's meant to help you see the setups. So this is already a good example too. Like, some people are signal botting this. Some people are taking this trade right off rip. But as I said before, like, we don't really have any good delivery to the left. Like, what are we really delivering from? Yes, sure, there's a 5-minute gap. Is the 5-minute gap really going to send us lower after how bullish we are at open and to start the week with positive news going into the week? No. Like, this signal right here, even though it's technically, a V shape delivering from a gap, this is not a good trade right here, in my opinion. And even if it plays out, I'm not even going to have any kind of remorse for not taking this, right? Because it just doesn't make sense from the higher time frame. I should mention also, these are the settings I am running for the indicator. Right now I'm running series, sensitive, neutral, and then all of these checkboxes are just default. Whatever comes with the indicator, I did not touch these. And then everything else, if you guys don't know already, these settings are all personal preference. All this does is just kind of change how the indicator looks, but everything up here changes how the indicator works. So that's an important thing. Usually just keep it on default. And then series sensitive, that's what I like to run personally. So, all right, so short setup, we're gonna fade this. Long setup, are we gonna take this? Personally, no. Even though this is my draw on liquidity up here, if you look at this range, ideally you wanna see us maybe tap 50% of the range before you look for some kind of expansion. This could work. To me, it doesn't look like there's enough momentum for a good continuation. It looks like we're tapping into a 15-minute yes. That kind of changes the picture a little bit. But 5-minute, this is kind of ugly. Like we just inversed on the 5-minute here. I don't know. This is not the worst continuation. Personally, I don't think I'm going to take this continuation here, but I do think this is the draw on liquidity up here, the red line that I have marked out. Let's see if this plays out. Indicator alerted along here. We're going to see. No, and you would have been stopped out on that. Let's let the indicator play some catch up. All right, so I wish I could give you guys a better answer as to why that long is a fade right there. Because obviously we are tapping into a 15-minute and this is the draw on liquidity. Obviously price action is fresh in my head too, so I kind of do know that this is not good, but even like I said, real time, like my goal is to kind of give you guys my thought process. Like this, we're so high up in a premium to be longing, and to me it's just, I don't know, it just didn't look as clean as it could, if that makes sense. I know it's not a great answer, but let's let price play out. We have another inversion here, and this is the same idea too. Like, yes, we're tapping into a 15-minute, but is this really clean? Like, is this really like a clear manipulation and then a clear displacement higher? Not really. So with that being said, like, we're gonna fade this long as well. Kind of let it play out. I think as a general rule, we're gonna stop the day at like 12 o'clock. So this is 12 o'clock right here. It does look like this setup is playing out right here too, which is a little unfortunate. Short setup, are we taking this? No, this is our draw on liquidity up here. Let's see. Short setup, same idea, not taking this, not taking this. And then we have another short after taking the draw on liquidity, but are we taking this? I mean, we said we were gonna stop at 12 o'clock, but this, not taking it either. It's not clean enough for me. This is just, it doesn't look like, this right here looks, even though we didn't get an alert here for longs, this looks very clean to where it's like a clear V shape, right? This alert right here, to me, not very clean, right? It's just kind of like no momentum. One thing you guys could probably do to actually show more obvious setups is actually, I think we're gonna move this over to normal, and it should, in theory, filter out stuff like this. I don't love this setup, to be honest, just based off looks. Honestly, putting it on normal too is probably gonna filter out this setup right here as well. Let's see. Yeah, putting it on normal, filtered out this. It signaled this short, but as I said before, draw on liquidity was higher. So we're not taking this short. And now we have this one right here. Let's see how this plays out. I'm telling you, I don't think it looks that good. Yeah, and that's a stop out again. So once again, reasonings for stop outs literally just doesn't look clean. You know, fade, you know, going against the bias, we had a draw on liquidity up here. You know, going into the week, we were very strong. Personally, not looking for short setups. We did get a long alert down here, which would have been okay, just based off the idea, you know, we know where the market's going on the higher time frame. So you could have maybe like pattern traded this long, but I want to try to be consistent with the logic. Like, this didn't look very clean. This doesn't look clean. I'm not taking either of those, to be honest. And that would have been a no trade day for Monday the 15th. All right, here we go. Moving on to Tuesday the 16th. We're gonna look at the higher time frames in a moment. One thing I want to notice, we have Asia low pretty close right down here. This is also, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, looking at it really zoomed out, this looks like we have equal lows down here. Yeah, I think these are like just about perfect equal lows. So Asia low with an equal low next to it. This is such a strong draw on liquidity right now. This is where I'm immediately looking. Just zooming out and seeing we have very perfect equal lows right here. This is like prime target for a draw on liquidity right off the bat. So having that knowledge already before we even go to the higher time frames, like I am looking for short setups until this Asia low gets hit, basically. Looking at the higher time frame, we are V-shaping on the higher time frame already. 15 minute, this is probably an alert on the 15 minute right here. Same thing with the 1 hour. This is a very clear V-shape, right? We're not really delivering off anything to the left at the top, but it kind of doesn't matter. Like this V-shape right here from the 15 minute should give us enough momentum to push lower. 4 hour, kind of same deal. Grand scheme of things, we are bullish. But with trading iFVGs, the way that I personally trade, I am kind of scalping, like looking for very like low R plays, because you only need a small piece. You really don't need to hold for these crazy R trades, especially with the indicator. Like if you're kind of like beginner or intermediate, like simply aim to just get really consistent, just taking like 1 R positions. That's really what helped me a lot. Like usually no more than 1.5, to be honest, until you build up your confidence and your ability to read price. I'm gonna wait for the indicator to load here for a second. All right, here we go, we're loaded. So right off the bat, strong draw on liquidity going right into open. Hopefully we get an alert here. And no, we did not get an alert here, which is very unfortunate because from a discretion point of view, this would be a really good short. Even though we're not really delivering from anything to the left right here, obviously we're kind of invalidating these gaps here, and we knew where the draw on liquidity was, which was those equal lows. So yeah, that would have been a good short. Looks like we're gonna get a long setup here. Tricky. So we are coming off that 15-minute V-shape that we saw on the higher time frames. So longs, I'd be a little sketched out about, but we did kind of deliver to an objective right here. Is this a good long? I think we can try this for sure, but I would probably be a quick break even on this. This also is not a data high right here. That would very much change things if that was a data high. This is just a little glitch with the indicator right now. If I took this, which I will for the backtesting sake, I would break even pretty quick at these like equal highs up here. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try this. Let's get rid of this. So we're gonna try the long setup from the indicator here. Stop loss is gonna go at the low. We'd want to target like a 1-to-1 probably. We can target this high inside the 5-minute gap. Let's kind of see what happens here. I'd be break even pretty quick. All right, yeah, like right off that, I'm going break even right here on this. So the indicator does tell you, it gives you a break even spot, which was here, I think. So the way the break evens work with the indicator is it's just going, the closest high is gonna be your break even spot. The next high is gonna be your TP1, and then the next high is gonna be your TP2. Obviously this is a very like mechanical approach, and obviously you wouldn't really be trading like that. Like what I recommend is definitely going for these 1-to-1s, 1 to like 1.5 R, and break evening at just some kind of like realistic spot. Like these highs right here, there's a good chance we can just hit these highs and reject off of them, right? So to me, this is a good break even spot. You kind of have to develop an eye for it yourself just through experience, but hopefully that makes sense. I'm not following the indicator perfectly to where it's like break even here, TP1 here, TP2 here. That's the point of what I'm trying to say, is you can use it as a general idea. Like, okay, we have a bunch of stuff stacked up here. I'll go break even here and aim for a 1-to-1. And that's what we're doing right now. So see if this hits. No, break even, and then would have hit TP. Pretty unfortunate, but see what happens. Short setup here. I was going way too quick and missed this short setup, which is now dumping. So the reasoning for me going break even very quick on the long setup was because of the 15-minute V-shape. And as you can see here now, what's going on, right? We just tapped into this 15-minute in hindsight. We're gonna go down to the 1 minute, and we had our alert, if I'm not mistaken, here. Let's see. Yeah, we had our alert here. So that's because of the delivery from the 15-minute in hindsight. So this was a very good kind of continuation short. We missed it. We were going a little too quick. But yeah, I mean, you guys just saw the 15-minute time frame. You saw how we tapped into a 15-minute, and this whole trade idea right here is based off the delivery from the 15-minute, the V-shape, the tap into the 15-minute gap. There's so much that goes behind it that makes, on the higher time frame, it makes this entry so much better. We're gonna move on to the next day probably. Actually, we'll go through a little bit more, but The reasoning for this long, once again, was just sweeping off these equal lows. Very sharp reaction, very clean reaction, but higher time frame did look a little more bearish, so we were very cautious on this long setup. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to just spitball my ideas to give you guys, you know, some insight as to what I'm looking at with the indicator. That's my reasoning for this. And then obviously the short is playing out. And it looked very good, tapping into the 15-minute. All right, moving on now to June 17th. I think this was Wednesday, so we're gonna start going through it, I guess. Right off the bat, we had this long signal. Like I said, we're not gonna be doing pre-market trades. So we're just gonna kind of keep going through here. All right, boom, we're moving way too quick, and this setup starts to unfold. Let's try to break this down for a second. We didn't have any kind of delivery from the left. I want to see if this was a rejection block on the higher time frame, because that would make this a lot better. That was super V-shaped, super strong. Let's see. And yeah, this was a rejection block, right? Yeah, I would say this definitely was a rejection block. Not super clean. If you guys don't know what a rejection block is, it's basically a low that sweeps out another low. And on top of it, this was inside a fair value gap. So this wasn't super clean because the body closed right here. But I would still consider this a rejection block, to be honest. As you can see, let's break this down for a second. So yeah, we have this fair value gap and discount. We're kind of tapping into like OTE/golden pocket here with this wick. This wick took out this wick, making this a rejection block right here. And then as you can see on the lower time frames at our signal, we had our dodgy signal right in here. So honestly, off the rejection block, you could have taken this little quick flip. But if I'm being honest, rejection blocks are a little more advanced, and I don't recommend playing inversions off of them if you are a beginner. Was this a good signal? It was definitely mid. It was definitely okay. A little more advanced if you want to play the rejection block. Let's see here. If I was going to take this, I would probably do something like this, like literally just straight up to, you could even play it up to, like if you were uncertain about the bias and you took this signal, you knew this was a rejection block, whatever, and you want to stick to that low R system, like you can literally take this trade up to this order block in case we just tap this and then reverse from here. If you got your entry here, this would have been really strong for a, like you could have gotten a good like 1.5 R out of this. Just target basically this CISD right here, and then you're playing the rejection block delivery. This is definitely advanced, but this was a good signal, I would say. Let's see what happens here. And now we have a short signal to the downside. So are we going to take this short signal? Let's look at the higher time frame again. Are we going to take this short signal? Personally, I don't love the way the higher time frame looks. One thing we kind of failed to notice looking at the higher time frame right now is we are delivering out of a 4-hour gap. So that kind of is supporting the idea for shorts, to be honest, like delivering right out of this 4-hour. It does make this short signal a lot better. If I had seen this was at 2. Delivering out of the 4-hour, we also have a 1-hour gap right in here. 15-minute time frame does look a little choppy, a little bit. We already used this rejection block, so that kind of makes it potentially okay to target now at this point. Delivering out of the 4-hour, like I said, we kind of took out this high to the left and rejected. This is now a rejection block as well, this 5-minute high. I'm down to try this short. I'm definitely down to try this short signal. We've opened up a little fair value gap in here as well. If you guys could see this, little fair value gap in here. I'm down to try this short signal off the indicator based on the fact that we're delivering from the 4-hour. Nice rejection off of these highs, creating this rejection block. This wick right here is also a rejection block. We have new week open gap below. Waiting for the indicator to load. We'll see what else is below us. We should have good liquidity below. Yeah, we have Asia low below, and we have previous day low below, as well as the new week open gap somewhere behind us. We already used this rejection block. That's not to say we can't use it again, but this was the strong reaction off of it. I'm not expecting another strong reaction off the rejection block. And delivering out of the 4-hour, we're going to try this short right here with the indicator. So this is already 2 good signals for today. If you knew about rejection blocks, which by the way, I guess I will pull this up. We have a free rejection block indicator called Rejection Block Pro Plus by taking profits. This is completely, oh wow, okay. See where it is. Rejection blocks, taking profits, Pro Plus, here we go. Yeah, and there we go. Turning on rejection blocks, Pro Plus. If you're unfamiliar with rejection blocks, it literally marks it out for you. So I called this out as a rejection block. As you can see, indicator marks it, tap the 50% of it perfectly, indicator alert right here. This was a great alert. And now we have rejection blocks in hindsight, this 5 minute. We're gonna put our stop at the high of it. We're gonna put our stop at the high of it, and then we're gonna target these, we're gonna try to target like a 1-to-1 with this. So what, this would be about a 1-to-1, targeting basically this rejection block to get invalidated. So let's see how this plays out. Boom, and then straight to take profit, right? Targeting just a 1-to-1. So already on Wednesday, great day for the indicator. If you're pairing it with the idea of rejection blocks, we had a good long right here, and then you could have also taken the short right here off the rejection of these highs, the fact that we were delivering from a 4-hour in hindsight, right? Two really good trades right here. So we're gonna move on to Thursday. All right, here we are, Thursday. So this is heading right into market open. We're gonna hop onto the higher time frames really quick as always. Once again, probably the most important part of using the indicator is understanding what's going on the higher time frame. So we have this 4-hour gap again, right? So we've been using this 4-hour gap. I said in the beginning of this video that 4-hour gaps are gonna create a lot of opportunities. And that is proving true. I actually do remember this day and the alert that we're about to get. But this was just like super, super clean, right? We have this 4-hour gap. We have a high resting inside this gap. So it will always be a very strong setup when we sweep out a high within a gap and then we form an inversion. These are like very, very textbook type setups that you really want to be capitalizing on. And I remember this was a very good example of it on Thursday. Just literally I'm filtering out everything else on anything lower than the 4-hour time frame. This is a very clear picture for me because what am I expecting? I'm expecting take out this high, get a reaction, right? So just based off the 4-hour, we can scale down to the 1 minute and just look if we get that reaction, right? We're looking at that 4-hour high. We've opened up a fair value gap right here. We're gonna wait for the indicator to play catch up, but surprise, surprise, we do get an alert here. Indicator's bugging out, hang on. There we go, we get our alert right here, and then literally like before I could even enter it, we start dumping. But this was so good. This was so, so good. Indicator alerted it, sweep of the 4-hour high inside the 4-hour gap, and then we get a strong reaction. This is an easy just one, like you can take this for if your stop's at the high, you can hold this down for like a 1R. I had my stop at the body, get about like a 1.5R, take it down to this low right here. Just, you know, take a low hanging fruit objective with the indicator. That's what I always recommend. If there's just a low that's resting within like that 1 to 1.5R range, like I'm gonna take it down to that and boom, super easy. Great indicator alert right here. It's exactly how you wanna be using it. Understanding what's going on in the higher time frame and then looking for that alert on the lower time frame, right? The rest of the day, I think I just got off the charts. I don't even remember what happened. As you can see, we're sweeping out that high again inside the 4-hour, creating another alert. Just once again, just creating opportunities. Could have gotten at least 1R out of this. I don't think this was great, but it's basically the same idea, right? We're sweeping out a high inside of a 4-hour. So this was good. Another short setup. This was mediocre. The more times we do this, eventually it's not gonna work every single time, right? This was just kind of mediocre. We weren't really like sweeping any kind of like key liquidity. We just kind of keep re-sweeping these highs and creating these V-shapes. This was decent. A little late. I don't really like to be trading after 11 o'clock personally. Yeah, and that's after 12. So that was just about everything. And I think that's probably it because the market was, we had closed market on Juneteenth. So yeah, that was basically like my raw like weekly review using the indicator. Obviously this price action was fresh in my head, but I tried to give you guys as many insights as possible as to why you should be taking certain signals versus why you shouldn't. And hopefully it gave you guys a better understanding of how to use this indicator as a tool to help you, not just as like a, hope and pray and just take the signals and hope they work out. Because if that's what you're using it for, you still need to know how to trade. You still need to go at it and aim to learn what the good setups are like. If you can do that and you can find a good approach with the indicator where it makes sense to you, where you can see there's a higher time frame bias and then you just zoom into the lower time frames and take the alerts, you will find success with the indicator. You just have to apply a little bit of discretion to it, not signal bot it, and just aim to continually improve and journal. So if you guys want more videos like this, kind of going over my insights on the indicator, obviously just let me know, reach out in indicator chat, or if you're in my server, reach out in my server. And also, if you guys didn't know, we just released a free journal. So what I recommend for you guys is journal the trades that you take with the indicator and really aim to figure out what the good alerts are versus what the bad ones are. And we have a free journal for you. It's literally on the level of like TradeZella, all these big journal companies. Like, we literally made one for free. You just have to put in your Discord username and start using that journal to your advantage and really just identify the good setups with the indicator, figure out what the bad ones are, and just basically avoid taking those. So that was everything from me. And like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.